right, everybody, welcome to this training on connection, conversation, and conversion with Randy Mitchell, our president. I'm going to turn it over to Randy. Thank you, everybody.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, this is, we're going to try to make this as meaningful and as quick as possible. And so really, this is part of and goes with the getting started training. So since this is executives only, I'm going to be very direct and very to the point as we go through this process, because the biggest thing that we get to do is really truly connect with other people. And sometimes I've had many people ask me, well, how do I connect? How do I make it happen? How do I bring it all together? Well, the first thing is really understanding the power of the industry that we're in. I mean, it's pretty amazing when you look at the billions of dollars that get spent and the millions of people who participate. Yet, as we all know, so many things have changed over the last little bit of time here, and how we connect now is different. So there's a couple of things I want to talk about when it comes to connection. First thing is, if you haven't talked to someone in a very, very long time, the first question you want to ask yourself is, well, why haven't I talked to them in this period of time? And please, whatever you do, don't call them up and act like, you love them and you miss them and you just could not wait to talk to them again, when it's obvious that the only reason you're calling them is that either you want them to be a customer or you want them to join you in the business. So when you're doing situations like that, I strongly suggest that you be upfront about the purpose of your call and always catch up. You can catch up and talk about it. However, just be upfront. So people don't feel like you're ambushing them or you're telling them something that's not true. And when you start to make the connection, I want to talk about how we want to connect. Let's go to the next screen. So I want to talk about how we want to connect in the different ways to connect. So this is what I call the triangle of life. And the most important piece here, most of us refer to this as your why you're doing the business. And I like that. The why is cool. But I want to take it a step further. I like to take it into meaning. What are you here for? What does your life mean to you? What is the purpose? And what is fulfillment? Like, what would make you feel fulfilled? So the question that I think is so critically important, especially as we go to connect with people and as we start to talk to people, we most of the time, unfortunately, we stay on the surface, right? We very rarely get into the meat of things. So I'm going to start this process by and I don't know if we are able to, I guess we can use the chat for this. So I'm going to just ask right now, just quickly, ask everybody that's on today to I just really want to know how you're feeling. How are you feeling today? What's going on? How are you feeling? So let's see if we get some responses in the chat, would be great. Excited, energized. So BB, I'm going to come to you because I know you'll fully participate with me. So why are you energized?
Let me hover over Brian and I can have him talk. One moment.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, Brian, you're muted, but you can unmute yourself and talk.
Am I loud and clear?
You're loud and clear.
Yes, sir.
Well, energized for a lot of reasons. Number one, the ability to be able to learn today, and obviously feeling energized because of the opportunity that we have in front of us. Feeling a feeling of knowing what's going to happen before it happens. It's just an internal engine that is fired up and ready to go, and excited for all of those that participate and actually take this information serious and just really doing and applying the things that can really make a difference in somebody else's life, and knowing all of the stories we're going to hear, the lives we're going to change, so just feeling energized, man. Of course, the weather doesn't hurt. Beautiful day. But every day is a beautiful day when you're actually doing what we do and help save lives.
Man, I so appreciate that. I knew I could count on you chiming in, right? And so appreciate that. And I'm just using this as an example as we start to have this conversation. And as Brian was talking, there were many things that he was talking about that we could even take a little further. However, I want to go to some people that we haven't really talked to. So Peggy, come on if you're open to sharing why you're feeling a little overwhelmed.
One moment, let me get her. Hold on.
Okay, cool.
Here we go.
Are you there, Peggy? Can you unmute yourself?
Okay, there we go. You got it?
Peg, I got you. How are you?
I'm good, but like I said, I'm overwhelmed. I've got a lot of irons in the fire and I need to pull some of them out or just let them cook all the way. I don't know how to put that. But I'm getting ready to go on vacation in about a week and I have a lot of deadlines and I want to be more focused on Jump to Health, but I've had to put it off because of these other things. And I'm just like, okay, it's going to happen, but when is it going to happen? When am I going to really have enough time to really devote to this? So,
okay,
yeah.
So are you open if I ask you a couple of questions?
Sure.
Okay, so when you think about Jump and Jump to Health, what is it that's the most exciting to you to be able to participate in?
Well, I see a lot of people that have unfit bodies, so to speak. I can tell just by looking at their size, and not that they're like, terribly overweight, but I know that the weight they carry is going to hurt them. And they may even have diabetes, but I haven't had the conversations with them. I just haven't had, because I need to know, okay, once I have the conversation, where do I take it? What direction do I go so they're not confused? And also, do I have the wherewithal and the freedom time-wise to follow up adequately?
So is that part of your overwhelm, just the fact that you haven't put together yet your plan on how you want to reach out, connect, and talk with people?
I have resources. Kathy Smith is great, and Kristen is great. They're my leaders, and they've pointed the way for me. But it's a matter of my having a clear mind, a clear schedule, so forth, to pursue it adequately.
Okay.
So,
are you okay if I get a little bit more direct with you?
Go ahead.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm just asking permission. So how important is it to you to do this?
Would you say that again?
I said, how important is it to you to really work with people to see them get healthy, possibly live longer lives, and do that? How important is it to you?
It's very important. I'm involved in helping people in a lot of other ways, but that is, when I see my colleagues who may have a shortened life, or maybe they'll live another 10 years, but be, like struggling. But the topic of health has not been out there. Okay. So I need to be able to segue into that, health issues.
Well, cool, Peggy. Here's what I would love to invite you to do. And we can do that before your vacation or after. I'd love to have a conversation with you so we could really sit down and put together a plan and look at how you could accomplish what it is that you want. Because it seems like your desire is strong and you really want to be a support to people. It just may be a matter of us putting the things in a proper perspective so we can release this overwhelm and allow you to fully engage in a way that makes sense to you. Are you open to that? Does that work for you?
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
Okay, well, Peggy, thank you so much. I so appreciate you chiming in with us and being brave enough to really just come out and share what you're thinking. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I wanted
Thank
to
you.
do that. You're welcome. I wanted to do that just for a minute, and we may go back as we go through and somebody has some other questions, just so you could see the purpose of asking questions, the purpose of getting deeper into what's in someone's way or what could be in their way, right? And really digging for that why, digging for that meaning, digging for what's really important. Because generally, when people tell you something's important, the first thing they tell you is something that they think you want to hear. What you really want to drive to, what you really want to get to as you're having these conversations and making these connections is what's going to get people to do what they have not done before, right? What's going to put them into action, right? You heard Brian talk about that sense of excitement and so forth, right? So you could tell that he's energized, he's ready to go. But what's going to put people there? How can we help them define their purpose? And the only way sometimes that we can help people define their purpose is to remove the clutter, but also ask the right questions. So let's say now we're just in the beginning of this process and we're talking and we're connecting with people. There's a couple of different ways, and we'll talk through this as we go, different ways that we want to connect. But meaning to me is most critical. Now, sometimes people, it may take a little while before you get to the meaning, but you can always start with health, right? The physical, mental, and spiritual aspect of what someone may be feeling or doing or what's going on with them. As you heard Peggy talk about people with physical, maybe a little overweight or whatever. And there's so many different ways to connect. And when you understand and look at the fact of the resources that we have available to us, the resources that are available to us, the resources that are available to everybody that's on this call, it's really pretty intense when you think about what we can do and how we can be of service. So let's talk a little bit more about connection. That's the triangle. The triangle is critical and will be part of everything that we do and talk about. So let's talk about connection. As you can see here from the graphics, most people choose to connect using social media. So most of the time, most of us choose to connect with social media, Facebook, a variety of other things. Generally, we do that because of, it could be a variety of reasons. It could be that's where you communicate the most. However, what I urge people to do is, when you can, right, make a personal phone call, right, talk with people, right, connect with people, truly connect. And really, there's something magical when you connect with somebody, either via phone, video, chat, FaceTime, whatever it is that you're using. There's something pretty magical because it's that expression of caring. And we're going to talk about that a little later, but that expression of caring as you make that connection, right? So I'll give you a perfect example. It was so funny. I was laughing about this. Had a gentleman call me, and Brian, you can relate to this because I'm sure you get these calls as well all the time. So I had a gentleman call me, haven't talked to him in over 3 freaking years, right? And he's like, "Oh, my brother, how are you? Man, oh, I missed you," and blah, 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 right? And so as he was going through that, I said, "Man, just stop lying. What do you want?" Right? And I can do that because that's part of my personality. And I know that you can't really care about me. You haven't talked to me in 3 years. The only reason on God's green earth that you are reaching out to me is because you think that there may be some chance that I'm going to join you in some venture that you're doing. And generally, so anyway, I had the conversation with him and actually gave him our website and told him if he really wanted to be involved in a real business to, that we can connect and keep moving, right? And so, but the bottom line is that when you haven't talked to somebody, and we talked about this, is just be upfront. Don't go through the whole pretend that, "Oh, I really love you. Oh, I really care about you. Oh, this and that," which if you did, you wouldn't have waited 2 to 3 years to talk to them. And when you can, I love this, when you can meet somebody for coffee or meet them in person or have a conversation, and it's because you truly do care and you truly do want to make that difference. And when they can see your face and see your true intent, it makes all the difference in the world, right? Because when you look at what's happening with us today and you look at all of the time that we've had to spend apart from each other, where we could not get together. And there's so many things that people are experiencing that when you can reconnect, and you can reconnect in a way that what you have to provide and what you have to share could literally help people with their, not just their weight, with their immune system, with pain, and so many other things that people are experiencing now that you could really be a benefit to. So when you start thinking about connected, right? Yes, I know there's many things that people talk about, have a list of 200 and so forth and so on. Thank goodness we have a revenue sharing plan where you don't need hundreds and thousands of people to literally have the impact that this plan can have on your life. So really connect with people, really show them who you are, how you really feel and care, right? So let's go into a little bit more about conversation. So once you connect, right? So there's a variety of ways that we talked about that you connect. Once you make that connection, I think the most important thing to any connection is what the next phase is, which is conversation, right? And if you want to have a conversation, my opinion, the best way to have that conversation is to truly listen, to really listen to what I like to call listening with your inner ear and listening to see, right, what is the person actually experiencing? What is it that they're going through, right? So as you saw with the conversation that I had with Peggy, when you're asking the right questions, you can dig a little deeper because people will tell you, I love the weather is great. Then you could ask another question. You could just ask the question. It's like, okay, so what is it about this? What is it about this weather that makes you feel so good? And then they can tell you. And then once they tell you that, then you can go a little deeper till you get to what's really behind. What is it? What does the sun shining really mean to them? That seems simple, but again, when you're really paying attention to what someone's sharing with you, you start to see what's important to them, right? So it's not just, the weather's great. Okay, well, how does it make you feel? Why does it make you feel that way, right? So just pay attention, do things that really make a difference, and don't judge, please. Whatever you do, don't judge what someone's telling you. Just listen and see how your story, as you're listening, looking at your story and how does your story actually coincide with something that they're talking about, and reflect on where and how what they're sharing with you may be important and reflect some of your own feelings and how that really may tie together. Also clarify, right? So when somebody is sharing things with you that you're not sure about, as I was doing with Peggy, and as I asked her to clarify certain things. So get clarity, right? Really connect. When you're having that conversation, listen. There's something magical. People love to be listened to. It's something magical that happens when people know that you're truly listening, and you're not just listening, waiting to jump in so you can get your point across. You're listening because you really want to hear and you really want to take in what they're sharing and what they're talking about. And then as you're going through and you're talking, if it's appropriate, kind of summarize what you're talking about, right? So reflect back what you heard or what you believe you heard, so you can be sure about what it is that you heard and there's no misconceptions around that. And then once you start having these conversations, now what you can do, right? Because once a person has shared with you what they're thinking, what's going on in their world, and you've listened and you've asked the right questions, now you can share your story. And here's the magic when you use these 3 C's. Because when you use the 3 C's, you will seriously avoid rejection, right? Because now you get to share your story. And you're not manipulating, you're sharing your story in a way that reflects back to that person how what you may be doing could serve them, either from a customer point of view or either from a business point of view. It could go either way. It doesn't really matter. That's not the issue. You're not trying to get someone. What you're doing is sharing your experience, and you're sharing your experience, your strength, your hope, the things that you've gone through that may be similar to what they went through or similar to how they have felt. I know for some of us on this particular call, we have gotten into other businesses and people have been hurt by them, and they've got a lot of animosity and pain that they're bringing with them, right? That may be part of your process. And so how you could share from your experience and say, yeah, you know what, man, I identified, I've been there, right? Myself, me and Audrey were laughing the other day when we were talking about our own perceptions of the industry, but how what we knew that together we could do something that hadn't been done before. We knew that together we could create an environment in a community that reflected truly what a great business would be about. So we knew that. So then that's what we could now start to talk about, which means that's something that you can start to talk about. So you can identify and you could just say clearly, look, I understand, I've been there. I had that experience myself, but guess what I found? Here's what I found. I found the company that does X, Y, Z. And then you can have them experience that for themselves. They can experience that either on our Tuesday call, they can experience that on a Thursday call, they can experience that on a one-on-one call with myself or Audrey. You know, there's so many different ways that you can now share from that pain that somebody's feeling. You can share because you now have part of your story, a different experience, right? And from that experience, they may or may not believe you because everybody says, well, everybody says that. Well, let me see are you open to experience that? Are you open to a phone call? Are you open to see? Whatever it may be, the answer may be yes, the answer may be no. But most of the time, if you listen to their story and you're sharing your story, what you will find, excuse me, is that people will be very, very open to that. So have the conversation, but have the conversation after listening. And one other thing I just want to bring up, because we do have a great, great video. I would strongly suggest that you send the video after you have the conversation, right? To send the video as a means to open up a conversation, I just think that you'll get much better results if you send the video as a result of the person wanting more information, as a result of a conversation that you had. So you're not just, so it's just more, in my opinion, more user-friendly for a person to that you're connecting with, that you want to have the conversation. And then finally, what you want to look at is the conversion. So what are you trying to convert from, right? So when we look at the graphics here, you'll see for some, it's just going to be going from what they were eating to eating healthy, right? So it could be going from eating and finding that they're truly tired of the diet and tired of being overweight and looking for a different way. And all they want to do is actually just learn a way to eat healthier and do that. And so you know, and you've already expressed through your story how possible that is. So you want to know the way that you'll know how effective you are at sharing your story is that what will happen when you get to the end of the story is people will say to you, how can I do that? I would love to do that. Or I wish I could do that. And when they say, I wish I could, then you could make that wish a true reality based on the information you have and the tools that you have, right? And then otherwise, they could also be in a place where they're looking at this, I really do want to change that, but I would love to be able to create residual income. I would love to be able to create passive income, because somewhere along the line, as you were sharing your story, you were sharing about how you're creating a passive income, how the simplicity of the plan. You are sharing from your experience the fact that, boy, you know what? I mean, it's just amazing that you can be in a business where with just helping 3 people or working with 3 people to have better health, to change their lives, I can get my product for free, where I can start to build a business, build a community, build a team. And together we can do that without it really reflecting any additional expense on our parts. And as we're doing that, we're serving people, we're making a difference, right? We are literally changing the world. And I know you've seen us talk about this, and you've heard Audrey talk about this. And how do you change the world? You change the world one person at a time by the contributions that you could make. And every person that you get to share with that participates with us, right? You have that knowing that they can't be hurt, that the worst thing that could ever happen to them is that they get healthy, and they can get healthy and take care of their families in ways that they did not even know was possible. So sometimes we make our business and we make these conversations and we make these things a lot more challenging than they really need to be. It's really connecting. So how do you connect? We talked about that. How do you connect? But connect with the heart, connect with what's real. Don't connect with a bunch of nonsense and pretend. Be real. People appreciate when you're honest with them, when you're upfront and you're just telling them the truth. And when you're having that conversation, really, truly listening. Now, we're almost at the end, and I just want to leave some time for some questions, and so we can go through that process as well. But I really believe, and this may make some of you a little uncomfortable, but I really believe that we are in the best industry in the world. But I also believe with every fiber in my being that it's time for change, that we cannot perform how we used to perform, that the way that things were is no longer that way. And as you can see by this graphic here, I believe everybody can be great because anybody can serve. And that's one of the quotes from Martin Luther King that I truly believe in. When we look at where we are as a business today, and I really am going to urge every person on this call to really take this in, okay? And to go from a transactional business or from a transactional way of life to a transformative way of life. And what do I mean by that? From transitional, we talk about what's in it for me, right? I hear people on the calls and we're talking, they're talking about, oh, I just got to get more people. I just got to get more people. Nobody wants to be gotten, right? But instead of trying to get more people, it really come to a place in your mind and in your consciousness. It's like, well, what can I give? What can I give? How can I serve? And when you ask, what can I give? What you can give is just information sometimes. What you can give, you can share knowledge that could change people's lives. Whether they choose to be on the products or in your business or not, you have something to share with them that may put them on a journey that helps them to transform into something that they truly want to be, right? So don't look at building your business from this transactional point of view that everything is a transaction. What are you going to get? How's it going to work for you, right? Really, when you can come from a place genuinely in your heart and soul about what you can give, how you can serve, it's going to make a huge difference in your business. And this whole entire 3-foot rule, transactional 3-foot rule, anybody 3 feet in front of you, talk to. Now, I'm in favor if you're talking to them without the intention of having them do, especially if you don't know them, right? So instead of going from a transactional standpoint, look at it from a transformational standpoint, right? And just working with people who want to be in business, right? I love this when people talk about, well, we're in this great business that anybody can do. And anyone that's been in this business knows this is not a business that anyone can do. It is a business that is simple, but that doesn't mean that it's a business that anyone can do, right? It really comes down to if someone's looking to be in business. Are they looking to be in business, right? Is that something that fits their personality? Some people, it's just businesses, it's just not in their personality. They want to be a customer. They want to share with a few friends. And that is fine. And especially when you look at all the advantages that we have just for being a customer, right? And one of my favorites, we talk about transactions, personal development. Now, I am a fan, as you all know, of growing and changing and doing all of those things, but not from this place that you're broken, not from this place that there's something wrong. It's not from this place at all. That's why I personally prefer personal mastery, getting yourself to do what you know, right? Because all of us truly, 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 truly know what to do, but it's really getting ourselves to do what we know, mastering that, looking at what are the things that's going to allow me to master the things that are important to me. So when I go back to that triangle of life, and I go back to that meaning, fulfillment, what is it? How can I serve? Put all these pieces together. And finally, the most important piece, and I want to open it up for any questions or sharing that you may have. The most important piece that I really, really hope that we can all truly do, and that's just care, right? Truly, truly care, investing in other people, right? People are not here to be thrown up against the wall and see what sticks. People are not here for that, right? But when we really care, we really share, and we can take what we learn and the things that we learn here and jump to help. And whether somebody joins us in our business or becomes a customer or not, the knowledge that you receive from Audrey on a Thursday night, just sharing that with people with care can assist them in going maybe on a different path, even if they don't choose your company, even if they're on a different path, but what you have to share can get them on a path that really works. But when we really care about people and we really care about how we can serve them, and we're not just dumping them, right? And we participate in their lives. We participate in the meanings that they want to create for their life. And this is one of the reasons why I love where we are and what we do. One of the reasons why I love working with our CEO, Audrey Summerfield. One of the reasons why I love the people that are on this call and the things that we get to do together is because one thing I am sure about is that the people here do care. So now it's how do we take this caring and we communicate that effectively? We communicate it in a way that allows people to feel who we are. Because once people get around us and once people get into the flow of our business and the culture that we have, they can see for themselves that this is real. So I would invite you to release yourself from the old way of getting, to truly transform into a new way of how do you give and how do you serve. So I appreciate everybody taking some time. So Audrey, let's just open it up to if anybody has any questions or comments or anything else that people may want to talk about.
So every single person, if you just want to chat, you can just unmute yourself and you can talk or pop something in the chat box, but everybody's enabled to talk if you unmute yourself. Everybody's shy today.
I just want to say something real quick. This was amazing because this company does embody what I believe, that we should give and we should serve first of all, and then the rest is icing on the cake. I was very much touched by the words today.
Well, thank you for sharing. Who's sharing? I can't.
Christy Fisher. That was Christy Fisher.
Hi, Christy. Thank you for sharing that. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate you. And we're here to serve, and anything that you need, please do not hesitate to call upon us.
Well, I really feel that, and I appreciate that. This is probably the first time in one of these kind of businesses that feels for real that somebody cares and listens and understands, and that's a wonderful thing, because that's how I've always wanted to do business.
Well, you gave me chills. Thank you.
Well,
Hey, Randy, it's Brian.
Go ahead, Brian.
Hey, I couldn't help myself, but you know what's funny? As they say, history repeats itself and comes back, just like bell bottoms. You know, I grew up in this industry, and everybody used to say people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And, I memorized all these statements, and I used to sound really good on stage because I could memorize them and regurgitate them, in the right point. And as I've gotten older, I've actually realized the content behind the power of the content behind such a simple phrase. And I think history is repeating itself, and it's for a lot of reasons because of the media outlets that we have now, especially social media. We talk about it a lot. We're inundated. The average person spends over 2.5 hours a day staring at their phone on social media. That doesn't count the 40 hours a week that they watch television. So, and I think and I just said this on a training the other day, I said, the only thing that's going to make our opportunity stand out is not our opportunity, it's you.
Yes.
And the only way to do that is to pick up the phone and have those conversations. And and like you said, there are some people I can call that I haven't called in 4 years. Randy, it's Brian. You know why I'm calling? Let's get right down to it. But then taking the time to understand there are conversations when you want to get caught up, and then realizing, that we're not looking for the masses, right? We're looking for just a handful of people. Like when you think about just finding 3 people and the amount of no's and how we get discouraged. And I think it's important, with what you're talking about, there is no discouragement. So that was my takeaway from today when you were talking is, the disappointment. And Jim Rohn says, best discipline your disappointment, but understanding it's okay for them to be a customer, and understand that we live in a rejection world. And they're not saying no, N-O, they're saying, I don't know, K-N-O-W. People say no for 2 reasons. No, not now, based upon the timing of my life. And no, not now, based upon the information you've given me, because I don't think anybody's going to say, no, I don't want to live longer. Right. And then you think about what our products do as the end result. And, to me, so my 2 cents and a tip that has always helped me having those conversations is just like you did, ask for permission. May I speak frankly? Hey, can I have a serious conversation with you? And then obviously talking about yourself and your story, and opening up that conversation and inviting them into your life, and they're going to naturally open up, and so the beautiful thing is that I love how you put together the 3 C's, and I see the industry coming back to a stage to where, we're on the most powerful tool we have now, and it's our voice and it's our tone, our excitement. But I wanted to thank you personally. Awesome training, great stuff. And, hey, baby, we'll see you on the dance floor.
All right. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
So Randy, I'm going to ask you a question that I know you've gotten asked a lot, and I know everybody on this call has been asked a lot. Somebody new joins you and they say, but I don't want, the beginning of your presentation was share your story, right?
Yes.
And so many people tell me, well, I can't share my story until I lose 20 pounds. How do you answer that one?
I love that. That's like one of my favorites, right? Because we talk about this all the time when people say, well, I don't have a story yet. But the story is the fact that you decided, right? You've made a decision to change your life. You made a decision to move forward with your life. So you have already started the process of the story. Now, whether it works or not, this is where the beauty of what's been created here at Jump. You have a 12-week money back guarantee. So there's only one way you're ever going to find out whether it works or doesn't work, is that you have to apply it. However, what I always invite people to do and share is the fact that look at what's here, look at what is here for you to do. Are you willing to do these simple steps? I mean, when you think about how everything is laid out, it's laid out for you. But are you willing and are you ready to do these simple steps? If the answer to that question is yes, then there is no risk. There's nothing to wait for, right? And most importantly, Audrey, the most important piece is that if you're talking to someone that you want to be on the journey with, it really comes down to, look, I don't want to do this by myself. I really want to do this with you. We can do this together. We can support each other. We can hold each other accountable. We can do that from a space of love and caring and doing the things that's necessary. So let's just go do this.
Hey, Randy, it's Julie. Can you hear me okay?
Julie, yes, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, I have about 2,000 people captive out here in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico, so I've been working hard on them all.
Sampling them away, right?
I've been loving on them and being sincere, but that is so true what you've said. I love the training. It's all about sincerity and conversations, loving on people. I had a situation 2 nights ago where I was sitting with a lady and she actually led the whole conversation. She just asked me questions and I listened to what was happening in her life, total stranger. And all of her conversations led to me being able to share, what I have that I feel like I would love to share with the whole world. And it even went into the fact she had been an Herbalife consultant that came at the very end of the conversation. And then of course she started asking me about, our comp plan and and I was able to tell her, we have the best in the world. So, sometimes just like you said, just listening and letting them. She's the one that asked me. She said, "What do you do?" And I said, "I'm retired, and I've been retired since June." And we just went on with our conversation, and she just looked at me puzzled. And then I didn't offer up any information. She just looked at me puzzled, and she goes, "Well, so how are you on a cruise, and why? And what do you do now then?" And I said, "Well, I would be happy to tell you what I do now." And so it's just all about listening, sharing, and loving on people.
Thank you, Julie. And I'm glad to hear that you're having a good time and making those connections.
Hey, Randy, it's Gail Jaffe.
Hey, Gail, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, good. First of all, I just wanted to say, love your trainings. They are so in-depth and a lot of compassion there for the team that we have out here in the field. I did want to just put my little 2 cents in to the lady that in the beginning that was asking about being overwhelmed. It happens to everybody. I'm trying to run a traditional business, take care of a home, trying to, focus more. And same thing, everybody, when we start Jump to Health, everybody's intention is we want to find that time to build this business. I don't think anybody joins as an executive and doesn't have that intention that we don't want to build this business. And I've had to learn, and I've done a few of these gigs in my lifetime, and I've had that same intention with everyone, but as you age and as you learn and as you process different things, you get takeaways from everything in life. And I'm learning in this season of my life, and it's a beautiful season because it just happens to coincide with me engaging in the Jump to Health business, is that you have to, just like any other important thing in your daily life, you have to schedule time for it. And if your only time for that day is a 10-minute call or 10-minute reach out, or go out of your way to stop by somebody's house or stop by the kids' bus stop, and because there's a lady there that you've been wanting to connect with, and just make that connection. If it's only 10 minutes, make it that 10 minutes. Don't overwhelm yourself by thinking that you have to spend hours and hours and hours building this business. If you just start with a small amount of time, and then you start engaging and sharing and telling your story and getting yourself out there, then eventually you'll start seeing the fruits of your labor, and you can add on more time and add on more time. And who knows, by the end of the week, you may be an hour into your Jump to Health business, but it was an hour that you totally dedicated to share, a bit of your life and why you chose to do Jump to Health. I've been through so many of these in my life. I've got people holding up the iron cross at me a lot of times. Go ahead. Yeah, we know you're coming at us for something. I know that feeling because I had somebody approach me about 4 years ago, And I was on the second floor, and nobody goes up to that second floor unless you're either going to the gift shop next to me or you come into my Pilates studio. And I saw this man walking in who I knew from my previous business. And I'm like, I haven't seen him in 3 or 4 years. And the only reason he's coming up here into my business is because he wants me to get involved in something. And my iron cross was up, and I'm just like, nope, I'm not giving him the time today. So, if you've been one of those people that have been involved in other things, and I had to get over my fear of approaching people because I was involved in other businesses, because I'm just like, I can't go back to them. What are they going to think of me? And I had to get over my fear of what are they going to think of me, because at this point, I don't care what they think of me. I've got something that is valuable, that I think is valuable, that I think could be valuable to them. I mean, we've got options. We've got so many options that we could offer people, not just in the weight loss arena. I mean, the everybody's got inflammation. I mean, and I think that's a huge plus with our company, is that we're dealing with what 95% of the world suffers with. Heart disease is inflammation. I mean, there's inflammation all around us. So if you just share it from your heart, and don't come across like the used car salesman.
Yes.
And I've been around a few of those myself. And I tried to learn that whole, I tried to duplicate myself to be like that used car salesman and then who transferred into a networking business. I tried to model myself after that, and it did not work. It backfired, because that's not who I am. I speak, from my heart. I'm a person that genuinely cares for people. I've always been, even from young all the way through. I mean, I put others' needs before my own, because I just feel that, people need to be cared upon. People need to be loved upon. And if you go in gently, just like Randy says, go in with a gentle nature, and not go in and attack them and be like, hey, listen, I'm here for this call for one reason and one reason only. Go in gently, and then, express yourself while you're calling, and then, then address the fact that, listen, here's the video. Let's, take a look at the information. Let's catch up on a more personal level at a later call. And don't just leave them high and dry and say, listen, it's the only reason I called you. I'm only going to give you one chance. And if you don't jump in, we're done. So, just make that connection. If you truly want that relationship, and the beauty with this business is you get to choose who you want on your team. You get to make the plays. You get to make the calls, and, work with people who you want to work with. Don't work with the person that bullied you back in high school. If you're not comfortable with them, why would you want them on your team? Be selective, be selective, but at the same time, have compassion for people who truly need the products, customers, and then be compassionate and listen to people and hear their story, because everybody has a story. And in today's economy, there's going to be more and more people that are going to be needing extra sources of income, because, it's just getting tougher out there. Bills are getting higher, food's getting higher, gas is getting higher. What do you do if you're at the same job and getting the same amount of pay? People are going to be looking for other sources that don't have to have them buying products that they don't need, they don't use.
Absolutely. Thank you, Gail. So appreciate you, and so appreciate that, what you just said, because to be able to work with people in a way that allows them to actually purchase products that's going to save them money and not cost them any more money. I know we went over a little bit. I just want to, again, thank everybody for taking some time out. I appreciate the conversations. And Audrey, anything that you'd like to close us with?
Oh gosh, there's so much I want to say, and yet
Audrey, before you close, is it okay if I just make a quick statement?
Yep, go ahead.
First of all, I want to congratulate everybody that you could have chosen anywhere to be this afternoon, especially those of us in the cold weather, and you chose to be here, and so the biggest thing that, again, Randy obviously always breaks it down, but realize, everybody, Jump to Health, we have a solution to major problems in society, not only in the health and wellness side, but in this industry as well. And we're the solution. Finally, there's founders, there's executives, there's leaders that have put the ego, the greed aside, and that's Jump to Health. And, you know, we've got this culture creating that it's people before profits. And I just want to say, you know, Randy and Audrey, on behalf of all of us, thank you for sticking to your guns. Thank you for leading that way, because so many opportunities are just money, money, money. And again, nothing wrong with that. But to have the people before profits mentality is just amazing. And so thank you. And sorry, Audrey, I didn't mean to jump on you there.
Oh, no, you that was fabulous, because you kind of summed up what I think I'm feeling, which is, first of all, thank everybody for being on this training today. As Mike said, you could have been anywhere else. And I know we have some people are going to watch the training later today. And thank you for taking time to watch the replay. Because one of the things that is unique here at Jump is we are a family. I feel it. I feel like what we're creating is unique and special. And it's about serving others. When we created the company, that was the goal. Yes, we want to be a large global company. Yes, we want to have the company be worth millions and millions and millions of dollars. But we started this company not for the millions and millions and millions of dollars. We started this company to serve other people, to serve them with income, to serve them with health, to serve them with fun, to serve them by helping them see that they're blessed and they can serve others. And so that is why we created this company. And I think that is what's going to make us unique, because right now, as I watch the industry, I'm seeing all these get rich quick schemes hitting the internet.
Yep.
And my heart's breaking, because as Gail said, people are hungry. Inflation is growing. We are now spending $600 more a month than we did 1 year ago. And 1 year ago, people were $500 away from poverty. So we have that unique opportunity right now. And everyone on this call and listening to this call are the founding people of this company. You are the ones that in 20 years are going to say, I was in the room when. I was in the room when we discussed as a team that we are not about getting people, we are about serving people. I was in the room when Randy said, like, listen to people and hear them, because that is true magic. Every person has a story and every story needs to be heard. And you're the person who's hearing it. And right now, as we head into March and it's an amazing month, right? We're finally getting out of winter. The days are getting longer. The weather's getting warmer.
Yes.
We have this month some of the best tools ever to help people now more than ever. I want to remind everybody on this call, we have a double dream bonus for new ranks. So if you helped a new team member join last month, help them get to bronze this month. Because by doing that, they're going to get $200 in dream bonus, $50 in that bronze VIP bonus, plus their team commissions, plus their free product, plus. So this month, that person can easily earn $600 by helping 3 and helping 3. And that, my friends, is amazing. And then take that video, that SoundCloud that we shortened on energy drinks, and send it to everybody, because 85% of people who are adults are drinking caffeinated beverages or taking pills for energy, and they're harming their health, and we are not. So we've got a true opportunity. We have a true opportunity right now in front of us to be that different company to share with the world. And I also want to share one last thought is I posted a simple post on my fan page, before and after shake, and it's getting traction. And what I'm hearing from everybody that's reaching out to me is they missed the shake that tastes like cake. and they didn't know it existed again. So there's a world out there of people who want to lose weight, a world out there of people who have diabetes, a world out there of inflammation and pain, a world out there of digestive issues, a world out there, a $19 billion category of energy drinks. We can be the change in the world. So thank you, everybody, for dialing in. That's all I have. Randy, I'll turn it back to you.
Well, thank you, Audrey. So appreciate it, and so appreciate everybody joining us on the call, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. And thank you so much for joining us. Take care.